gonna smoke a little bit just from tilting it. We'll do 3 more pumps. Welcome back to yet another 213 Crispy video, and today we have a new client here for me to work on, or aka customer, however you want to look at it. But this one is actually my mower that I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace, and with this we have a no start situation. This is a Murray 21 inch, I believe it is. It's a 2017 or 2018. I have not figured that one out completely. I know the motor on top is a Briggs & Stratton 2016 model, so it has the same plastic carburetor just like the Troy built that we had on a couple videos ago. So with this, there is a primer bulb on the carburetor side, and it says to pull it, sorry, it says to push it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And then it's obviously got fuel in it. I've already checked that before I tried starting it when I bought it. And obviously the gas cap don't like to go on now. There we go. I don't think that's on. Nope, that's not on right. Hate newer stuff. Okay, there we go. So pull the safety lever back, give it a couple pulls. So with this, got a couple things that you can look for. First would be either spark, compression, or fuel. That's the 3 things that an engine needs. It's too new that compression should not be an issue, and I can feel it when I pull it that it's got resistance, so that tells me that there's compression. As for spark, I already know that it's a fuel issue because she told me whenever I picked it up that it will start and run on starter fluid, so that right there tells me that it's carburetor issues. So with this particular mower, we're going to do a full tune-up just like we've done with any of the other mowers. Air filter, probably won't do the spark plug on this one just for the simple fact that it's only a year old. I'll check it. If I think it's bad, we'll replace it. We'll pull the blade off, we'll get it sharpened, do an oil change obviously, but first things first, let's start with the carburetor. So let me get you up on the stand, and actually, you know what, let's drain the oil. So yeah, let me get the camera resituated and get you ready for an oil drain, and then we will pick it up from there. Now with this particular mower, it does not have a normal dipstick tube that would come up and have the crank, the handle, and everything else. This one, unfortunately, because it is on the lower end of the spectrum of price points, the dipstick is the really small plastic tube that mounts right here. So with this, we're going to set this aside. We're going to grab the mower, and unfortunately this is going to make a mess no matter how you want to look at this. So I'm going to grab it, and we are just going to flip it over really quick and drain it without making as much mess as possible. So you're going to notice with it draining, it does not look terrible. But I also noticed it did not have a ton of oil in it to begin with. So there goes some more. And it's leaking out the fuel cap. not going to get it all out. We're just making a mess at this point. So we'll flip it back over, and then I'm going to get you up on the workbench, and we're going to start working on doing, taking the carburetor out. We're going to check a couple things, and I'm going to give you a pointer on what to look for with these carburetors as well. So let's get you up on the workbench, and we'll be right back. Now that we got you up on the bench, let's go ahead and start tearing this apart. So, like I was saying, the motor is a 2016, which I don't think you guys can read. And the family of this particular engine is GBSXS.1251VA, and it's a 125cc engine. So, like I said, 2016 engine, but again, I'll say this again, just because the engine's in 2016 doesn't mean the deck was made in 2016. It does have a serial number and a maintenance product code number and a catalog, and yes, it is a 21-inch. So that is down here on the deck. I believe it's a 2017 deck. The lady bought it last year from, I believe she said, Walmart. So let's start tearing this apart. So first things first, obviously the whole thing's dirty. It was not very, for only being a year old, it wasn't really taken care of, unfortunately. So, air filter, this thing is disgusting. So it's got grass all over inside it and gunk. So this gives you an idea of issues when it comes to this. So yep, so we got a new one of these to replace this with, or at least I hope it's the correct model. We'll find out when I go to install it. If not, I can get this cleaned up. Maybe. Shouldn't be too big of an issue. With this particular unit, I do not see any Torx bits, which is kind of nice for once. I just do not know which size this is off the top of my head, so we're going to find out real quick. I believe it's going to be on the smaller side, like a 5/16. Yep. 5/16 is going to be one of them, and then the other ones are even smaller, which is probably 3/32. Seems to fit it. So now, unfortunately, Briggs has a design in here that it's supposed to be auto choked, which in this case it has, and that's in that tube here, but there's a linkage, and sometimes this metal bracket that holds these on actually is just a tick too close, so when the choke is open, it actually rubs up against the metal bracket and it actually sticks open. So that's something to keep an eye out for with these newer engines that have Briggs & Stratton plastic carburetors on them, because it is a known issue. And even according to Briggs, it's a known issue. Oh, that one's going to come off. So now we've got an air breather on the top. It's got to come off, and then your air cover should come out. So this particular one, like I said, has a primer bulb feature on it. And I feel like this engine's missing something, because okay, maybe not. So what happens is when you push on your primer bulb, there's a hole here, and that hole lines up with this, which in theory should pressurize the ball, which then squeezes up fuel. So either we've got a clogged fuel line something with here, or we simply just got a clogged carburetor. So we're going to start with option B, which I think is the main issue, and that's going to be the bowl. It's all plastic. It's a strange setup. It is removable. I did some more research after tearing the last one apart, and I did find out that it is serviceable, so I figured that part out. So what we're going to do is start by crimping. Actually, no, we'll do that in a second. Take off the fuel clamp and slide that back, and then I'm going to clamp this hose to prevent any more fuel from leaking out. And then take your flathead screwdriver and pop that off. Okay, this one's going to be a pain. There we go. So that's that. So the last part to this is just a linkage, which is towards the top. Which should come out. Twist. So I'm going to see what kind of fuel we have in here first. So let's dump that out. I know you can't see because my hand's in the way, and I'm sorry. I feel like that's everything, so let's inspect this fuel real quick. So obviously, besides the grass particles, it does not look terrible. Obviously, it's a god-awful color. It should be a clearish color, clearish blue maybe, but that's yellow, so that's a varnishy. And I'm not taking a massive whiff, but I don't want to get high, but it doesn't smell god-awful. So yeah, I think in this situation, we're going to leave the fuel like it is, and we're going to tear apart our carburetor. So let's get readjusted over here on the workbench next to us. We're going to tear this carburetor apart, show you how to take in the assembly apart and get it cleaned up, what to look for, and we'll go from there. So I'll be right back. Now that we got you on the workbench, let's tear this apart. So same small nut driver, we'll get that apart, and then you do not have to take the plastic cap off, but if you do wish to, a 10 millimeter Allen wrench will take that off. The only thing I think that's designed for is just a service drain for like winterizing, that kind of stuff. So to get these apart, you just get a screwdriver in here and gently pry it open. So we still got some fuel in here. Doesn't look dirty, and I don't see any separation, which tells me there's no water. So we're going to dump this in our jar of fuel, of bad fuel I should say, in here. So you notice it's the same nasty, yellowy, crazy color. So we're going to set that aside. I'll worry about cleaning that here in a little bit. So with the bowls on these, you got a couple ways, or the float I should say. you could actually take a small set of pliers, which is the old-fashioned way of doing it, and pulling your pin out and sliding it, and it should come out. The other option is, you notice the plastic is in a U shape. You can actually just take a screwdriver and pop that up. I don't like doing that simply for the fact that it's plastic. You don't know if it's going to break or not, so why put extra stress on that when you don't need it? So take that apart, and then there's your needle. So that's what shuts your fuel off. Whenever it detects that it's full, the needle shuts off because this floats, and when it floats, it pushes down on this needle down inside here, and it shuts your fuel off. So next step is take a set of decent sized pliers, or you could use a small flathead screwdriver, and you can actually pry this apart and separate this, or you can take a set of pliers and pull, and this comes out, and then this actually comes apart in two pieces. So with this particular piece, this is your jetting and everything that really you need to worry about. There's a couple things on the bowl or on the carburetor assembly itself, but I'll show you that here in a minute. So with this piece here also comes apart. It's coming. So once you take this apart, you're going to notice there's a bunch of little tiny holes, and those holes can get clogged up, and there's some on the back side as well. These are actually clear, and then same thing with the top. There's a hole in the top, and that's also clear. There's a hole here that's actually, it doesn't go anywhere, it actually stops down here, so that should be free as well. And then, so what happens is when this is in your carburetor, so imagine this being installed upside down, just like this. Your bowl, your fuel goes up to this level, goes in this brass piece, and then shoots up these cavities, and depending on what you're doing, will depend on what each of these does. So the way that I understand this correctly is this is an air vent that comes down and pressurizes your bowl, and is how your it's how your primer bulb works. With this particular unit, when you push your primer bulb, it pushes air in here and pushes fuel up. The problem with this design is this hole right here is clogged. That hole is where your fuel pickup is on your carburetor. So this is your main jet. The design of this unit is extremely small to begin with compared to other jettings, and this is where the culprit of these plastic carburetors have nothing but issues. Some people have been taking these and boring these out. It's personal preference, so take your can of carburetor cleaner and squirt it. So you notice we got some fuel coming out, or we got some carburetor cleaner. I'm missing my red tube, so I can't really demonstrate this completely on camera for you guys to see 100%. Oh, it's going the wrong way. Let me see if I can find the little red tube that goes to this. I know I have one. It goes to something else, so I'll just have to clean it before we put it on the carburetor. And it's not a big one either, so. Okay, so put this on here. And it's actually fighting me, so let's go in reverse. So that looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this cap back on, and then we're going to spray this thing down. With it assembled, so I can actually close up this port and squirt this one. So you notice fuel is shooting out of here now. Where when I first started this, that was not. So the other way you can do is go from here in, and you notice it's squirting outwards. So that tells me that this main jet, I'm trying to get this so it's not leaking so much. So that's cleared out. So then your last one you got to worry about is this jet here, which is this first one that we started with. So you got this jet, this jet, this jet, and this jet here. And like I said, this is just a passageway that comes out over here. So you notice when I squirt, it doesn't go anywhere, and it just comes out down here at the bottom. And that's what it's supposed to do. So that is clean. That's how you clean these plastic carburetors. The other part to this is you've got two holes. You got one down here on the left, and you've got one on the right. So what I would always suggest you do is take where your fuel comes in, squirt it. You're going to see it come out the bottom, and what it does is it comes out where your needle goes in. So that's how you know that passageway is clear, is through that. Then your next one is going to be through this hole here. And then if you look at the bottom, it's coming out the top middle pass, or the top passageway, or the closest to the center, through that port. And then you got this one way back here that, I don't know if this tube's, yeah, this tube will get it. And that tube should so that should be clean. And that's how you clean one of these carburetors out. There's not a whole lot to them, honestly. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, not a whole lot to deal with when it comes to these. This is only going to go in one way when you go to reassemble it, so you can't put it in backwards. It won't go all the way in. So if I try to go backwards, you're going to notice it won't go in. So like I was saying, your fuel is only going to come out these two ports here. One's your main jet, the other one's your idle circuit. Then that's how this functions. And then this one is just for your primer. So should be good to go. Just push this back together. Now we got you readjusted. Let's start by checking our fuel again. So just like last time, use our mason jar, set this in here, uncrimp it, let a little bit of this fuel flow out. We're going to make sure that it's nice and clean by doing this. Crimp it back off. Inspect it. Again, I don't see any separation. There's no line of a clear liquid that's in there, so that's good. So we'll set that aside. So there's no other linkages on this particular carburetor, just one that you have to worry about. So we're going to start by reassembling the linkage. And this simply just falls back into place. Push it all the way in, just like so. Then we're going to take our fuel line, and we're going to fight with this and get that back on. Let go. Take our hose clamp that's over here, crimp that back down, slide that on over. if I can get my hands to work. That looks good. Linkage, fuel, we are set. So the last thing is just cleaning this off, which I'm going to do off camera here real quick. I'm just going to take some carburetor cleaner, get this all nice and cleaned up, get this crap out, and then we will assemble our base plate, which somehow disappeared. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to get this cleaned off too before we install it. So I'll be right back. Now that we have everything clean, so, or as clean as I'm going to get it anyway. So we got both the plate and the cap cleaned off, and I went ahead and grabbed our new air filter as well. So notice the difference. Actually, this may not be the correct size. I'll see if I can make this work. It looks close. The hole looks a little off, so we'll see. We'll just play it by ear. So start with the base plate. So primer bulb faces down, and then the biggest thing with this, make sure you get that breather tube reconnected. What is fighting me? Something is not playing very well, and I don't know what it is right now. Oh, there it is. It's this tab up here that's blocking me. You guys should have told me, because that took me way too long to find out that a simple little tab was blocking me. So it looks to be installed. So big one and big one, little one and little one. It's the easiest way you're going to be able to remember it. So grab your tool of choice. Does not take much to, this is just to hold it here. It's don't have to be torqued down to no crazy specifications. Just get it so it's a gentle snug. If you overdo it, you will strip it because it is plastic. You have been warned. Plastic on plastic with metal screws. Again, terrible design. But they put this on thousands and thousands and thousands of different motors. Why they do it, I couldn't tell you. So we're going to start by putting in our new air filter. Yeah, it fits. You just got to stretch it. So this is part number 799579. So you notice, part number 799579, air filter cleaner. $4.50, I think. So cheap insurance. This needs replaced every year. At least, I would almost tell you to replace this the same time you replace your oil, or maybe this every 2 times of an oil change. It's up to you, but I will stress this, and I say it on all of my videos. Air filters and oils are your key and your lifeline to a healthy engine. So because they're air cooled, they have to flow air in for them to flow air out. And if it cannot do that, it's obviously going to affect the performance of the engine. But same thing with the oil. The oil is going to help keep it running clean and also run healthier, and it'll actually cut better when your engine is running at optimal top performance. So change your air filter, change your oil. I can't stress this enough. So let's put our cap on. So bottom tabs go in the bottom, lift up, ta-da, we're done. So Next step is we're going to flip it up on its side. We're going to take the blade off. We're going to get that sharpened, and then we're going to put some oil in it. I'm not going to put oil in it until after I put the blade back on. So I'm going to take this down. We're going to reset up our camera, and we're going to be right back. So with this particular deck, and obviously one of the reasons why I'm still leaking oil, so I didn't get all of it out apparently. This blade's original, never been touched, never been sharpened. This one takes a 9/16, so we're gonna grab on a hold of it. And there you go. So I'm gonna take this in, go get this sharpened up. You notice the blade, pretty dull. So we'll get this sharpened up, we'll come right back, we'll get it slapped back on. So now that we got our blade sharpened, we are going to go in reverse order of exactly how this came off. So nice and sharp from around the edges. Don't have to be crazy like sharp, like knife sharp. Some people go overboard, but it does need to have a decent edge to it. So it can only go on, well, I mean, I guess it could go on two different ways, but the flat side of it is at the bottom, the sharpened side is towards the top of the deck. That's the way they're engineered. So hand start your bolt, set this forward. Oh, come on. There we go. So there you go. That's that. Last step, we're going to flip it over. We're going to put some oil in it. This particular model is going to take 16 ounces of SAE 30. So while I'm under here, do a quick house cleaning. You'd be amazed at how much this will affect the performance of your cut on your grass, because the way it's designed, the deck, that's why they're cylindrical around the tops, is they are designed to suck up the grass as you're mowing, and that suck up feature is part of a clean deck. That's why I stress having a clean deck. So 16 ounces, and since it's a Briggs and Stratton, I'm putting SAE 30 in it. So I'm measuring that off camera. I'm right over here, but I'm fighting for time. That's kind of why I'm rushing it. So now this one, because this fill hole is in a bad location, let me go find a funnel. Does not have to be a big one, but just because of the location on where it's at. And like I said, my driveway is not flat, so what reads level on my driveway, depending on how this lawnmower is sitting orientation wise, will depend on if it's overfilled or underfilled. So that's one of the reasons why I have gone to the habit of measuring instead of just putting some in and hoping that it's filled. I always look the specifications up of the engine to make sure that you put the correct amount in. So like I said, this one is 16 ounces. that is that. Set that aside. Take our dipstick, put it in. And then you're going to give this 3 pushes. It sounded like I heard liquid, so well, it's starting in the right direction. It's going to smoke a little bit just from tilting it. We'll do 3 more pumps. Okay. Let's try this again. Right, fuel's still in it. Yep. Well, we might have to revisit this one and again, so one more time. Yeah. So we're gonna make this a 2-part video. So this is part 1 of apparently how not how not to rebuild a carburetor. So no, I don't think it's a carburetor. It wants to run. I can hear it. Oops. So let's try this. I'll try it one more time. This will be the last try. I think a hose fell off of it or something. I'm about to do some research to figure out what it takes. Yeah. Because it's just not getting fuel. So my bet is that primer bulb. There's a tube somewhere in there that got disconnected. So I'm gonna do some research and then we'll do a part 2 of our video of our lawnmower. So hang in there. Guys, give me a thumbs up if you like the video or a thumbs down if you don't. I use all of that to measure videos, so thank you. And you guys have a great day. We are on day number 2 of our Murray 450E Briggs & Stratton motor. I was able to tinker with it off camera for a little bit the other day, and I did get it running. The bottom of the bowl is that where that plastic piece clips up into the bottom, or that brass fitting was not all the way cleared out. Just because I was getting liquid through it doesn't mean it was actually allowing enough fuel to go through it. So what I did was took a brush, a real small brush, or a needle, or you can use like a hair, like one of the like a metal brush or like a brass wire brush, and take one of the wires and poke it through there a few times. That usually clears it out, and that's what I did to this one. Unfortunately, I was in a hurry, so I did not record it, but the mower is ready to go. I just washed it, so it's been sitting for a day now, not started. So according to the instructions, 3 pumps, pull the handle, oh, it's gonna make me a liar. Let's try this again. There we go. So I do know I did just wash it, so probably the air filter's more than likely a little wet, but it is also looks like burning off a little bit of crap out of the muffler. So I'm gonna start it again. Brake is good, so it stops up real quick. Don't see any smoke, so we are golden. So fantastic. So yes, so if you ever run across a 450E Briggs & Stratton engine that's got a plastic carburetor, pay attention to that little white plastic assembly, and make sure the little brass inlet at the bottom of that is clean and spotless, or it will not start. So you see me fight with it. The smoke, whenever it started, was just from over priming it, because it's a little cold-natured apparently. It's automatic choke, so there's no manual chokes or nothing like that on this assembly. So this is just a very simple, basic lawnmower. So if I pan over here, you'll see there's no self-propelled, no choke, no throttle, just a basic mower. So like I said, this is only a year old, so this is going to go up on Facebook Marketplace, and we're going to go from there. So again, if you guys like these kind of videos, give me a thumbs up. If you do not like these videos, then give me a thumbs down, because I use the thumbs to give me an idea of what content you guys are looking for. But right now, as you see, I've got another lawnmower right there I'm getting ready to work on. So I'm pretty stacked with lawnmowers, weed eaters. I got an air weed eater, and actually 2 weed eaters and an leaf blower that I got to work on. So that's my next project. So that's a customer that I'm going to try to get done here today. But yeah, again, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if you like it, or if you don't. Please make sure you subscribe if you like the content that I am giving, because I'm going to keep continuing to do what I'm doing here. Any support that I can get, I would greatly appreciate. Any products that I've used will be linked down low in the comments section for Amazon links to all of these products, so make sure you guys check those out. If you buy anything through Amazon at all, if you click on my link and purchase anything, or if you decide that you need to work on this and you want to buy the carburetors or air filters or whatever, you can purchase it directly to that link, take it right to it. But if you need like dog food, I know I keep using that as all my videos, but let's say you need pedigree dog food, you click on the link and then you search for pedigree dog food and actually buy it, then I will get a small commission of anything and everything that you purchase through that link. So I would greatly appreciate it. That will help me towards purchasing extra gear to help with video quality, audio quality, and overall content for you guys to keep watching these kind of videos. So with that, I am going to sign out, and you guys have a great day.